been over 24 hours now since I've owned the S7 Edge. I've had some time to dig a little deeper, get used to the hardware and the software, get a little acclimated to TouchWiz. This is really the first time I've been using TouchWiz, but I'm no stranger to Android. I've owned every generation of the Nexus since the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, and I've owned every generation of the Moto X, the Moto G, and even the Moto E. So obviously TouchWiz is going to be a little different, yet it's going to feel the same, sort of. Before I begin, I want to note that Samsung and T-Mobile did an excellent job rewarding its pre-order customers with not only a free Gear VR and a free year of Netflix, but shipping the phone out to us nearly, like 2 weeks before its actual launch in the stores. Usually the pre-order process, it can be a pain, like a grueling waiting game, but this has been my best experience yet. If you haven't seen my initial impressions video yet, you might want to check that out before jumping into this. But let's go over the build quality, form factor, and fit and finish of this phone. Premium is really the only best way to describe it. Well, a premium fingerprint magnet. I mean, seriously, this fingerprint stuff is gonna drive me crazy, but you know what? I'm never gonna put a skin on it. It just looks too good. It shows really easily. I know yesterday I said that it didn't seem like it did. It just looked like a mirror finish, but yeah, the fingerprints are everywhere on this phone. And I'm not just talking about the back, but I'm talking about the bezels too. They're as much a fingerprint magnet as they are on the back. Next to my iPhone 6s Plus, it's really a toss-up for me on which feels more premium. The S7 Edge has that wow factor though. I mean, it stands out easily. Its form factor with its large 5.5-inch display, it set the bar. The iPhone 6s Plus that houses the same 5.5-inch display, it looks overgrown. See, both of these phones are 5.5-inch displays, but the Samsung S7 Edge, the form factor is so much smaller, which really, it just gives you a better hold in the hand, a better feel in the hand. It doesn't feel wide at all, and honestly, I think they nailed the physical dimensions of putting a 5.5-inch phone together. Even with its smaller dimensions though, I really would have liked if they put the volume rockers on the left side a little lower. They're pretty high up here on top. With the left hand it's okay, but with the right hand, you'll most likely have to reach for those volume rockers. And the power button, they're all very tactile, but the iPhone for me, it still takes the crown for most tactile feeling buttons. Might not be a big deal for some, but you know, I gotta point it out. Still really tactile though, still feels really good. And honestly, it's still better than most, and I guess at this point I'm just being nitpicky. I do like how the iPhones are a little flatter though, I guess it gives it a little more surface area to press on. I do like that the headphone jack's at the bottom. That always makes the most sense to me, especially when listening to headphones and throwing your phone in your pocket, so when you pull it out, it's right side up. This year, the S7 and S7 Edge are back with microSD card slots. I put a 64 gig microSD card in mine, a Samsung one at that, which effectively gives me 96 gigs of storage. So I know this has been a Samsung thing for a while, but the back and recent apps buttons are flip-flop, at least flip-flop from stock Android. And honestly, this is confusing for me. So you got the back button here, the recent apps here. Typically on stock Android, the back button is on the left side, recent apps on the right side. I would think the back button goes on the left side, like on a web browser, or on a game controller. Back is usually left, forward is usually right. Phone has a physical home button. I do prefer the capacitive home button instead, but I'll take it. It's coupled with a fingerprint reader that I don't think is as fast as my Nexus 6P or my iPhone 6s Plus, but it gets the job done. I mean, it's still fast, I just don't think it's as fast. I wish you didn't have to press the home button though first before unlocking the phone. So on my Nexus 6P, I could just put my finger over the fingerprint reader and it would unlock. But for a Galaxy S6 or like my iPhone 6s Plus, I have to press on it first and then put my fingerprint over it to unlock. The tap home button twice for camera is always a nice shortcut though, big ups. And now I'll go over a few things about TouchWiz that I know Nova Launcher can fix, or probably other launchers are able to fix, but before I start throwing Nova on, I wanted to give TouchWiz a shot. I'm used to having this app drawer button in the middle. That's how I've always had it. I've never seen it on the right before. I'm guessing this is a TouchWiz thing. I don't know if it's always been like that. Somebody that's been using a Galaxy for a while, just let me know if that's how it's been. But if I wanted to move this in the middle, I can't. It's stuck there on the right. Again, this isn't going to be a big deal because I know I can put a third-party launcher and that'll take care of it. So I'm not too worried about it. I just want to point out how TouchWiz works as opposed to the stock launcher. And then we have these navigating icons or markers. Like this one on the very left is the home button, and these dots indicate the pages. And like I was saying before, I don't like to have icons on my home screen. The only ones I like having are on the dock. And so what I usually do is I just usually go through my app drawer and run through it going up and down. But I don't have this on TouchWiz. You still have the older left to right kind of navigation. But even if I got rid of all these icons here, I think these navigation buttons will still stay. You'll still get the home marker, and I think you'll still get 2 pages that stay on the home screen, and they just end up showing blank. So if that's how it's gonna be, then I might as well put icons on those pages. All right, let's talk about apps and let's go into bloatware a little bit. Most of the apps that the S7 Edge comes with, I can't uninstall, but I can disable. And let me show you which apps I've disabled. So the phone comes with Amazon, which I didn't even try it out. I just didn't understand why there's an Amazon Shopping, and then there's a different one for Amazon. Did Amazon make a separate app for the Galaxy phones? Galaxy apps, Lookout, Memo, because I have Keep, so I don't need that. And then these other things, S Health, S Voice app. I don't know anything about these apps. I've never used them. Honestly, for me, I don't see a need for them for me. But I never really gave it a shot, so I don't know if they're really any good. Samsung Gear, Samsung Milk Music, Samsung Plus, I don't use any of these things. T-Mobile stuff, visual voicemail, I have Google Voice. So I disabled a few things. I couldn't uninstall everything, so I disabled them instead. But honestly, there's really not that much bloatware. It doesn't seem as bad, or it doesn't seem as bad as I thought it would be. And then you have the Edge feature. I made this Edge bar a little bigger. Let's see if I can show that properly. Yeah, you can see it. It's that white bar right there. And I placed it a little lower since my hand usually rests on the bottom half of the phone. You can also choose to put this Edge screen on the left or the right side. It's a lot more customizable than I thought it would be. So far I'm using it to access apps and check sports scores. It's not bad. I don't know if I really see myself using it, but we'll see how I feel after a couple of days. Performance has been pretty solid so far. I will say I've already experienced some stuttering once or twice. I don't know if that's a fluke, so I won't go too much into it, but for the most part, my navigation through the phone has been pretty smooth. Honestly, I'm dying to throw a launcher to give it more of a stock Android feel, but I want to use it this way as the way Samsung intended for a few days before really moving forward with that. Battery life seems pretty solid with its huge 3600 milliamp hour battery. I'm hoping it can push really good numbers. I'm sure in a few days I can give a better analysis of that. You'll see tests coming up shortly. In that respect, I'll do the same for the camera. Not much to say now except wait a day or two. I'll be back. All right. Time to shovel the damn driveway.